for those whose water systems are not back operating and functioning exactly the way they need to.
The University of Mississippi says its campus in Oxford will remain closed for a second week. Debbie Elliott, NPR News.
The government has announced the next batch of drugs that will get their prices negotiated in Medicare. They include Trulicity for type 2 diabetes, as well as drugs for HIV, cancer, and migraines.
The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services will negotiate the prices of 15 more drugs. This is the third batch the program will negotiate since gaining this ability as part of the Inflation Reduction Act. It will also renegotiate the Medicare price of type 2 diabetes pill Tradjenta, which was part of the second round of negotiations completed last year. The law lays out which drugs are eligible for selection in this process. Criteria include being on the market a number of years, not having generic or biosimilar competition, and being among drugs Medicare spends the most money on. Negotiation.
I wonder why the snowstorm and this drug pricing are their top stories instead of the Minneapolis ICE terrorism.
New York City is facing its largest fiscal crisis since the Great Recession, a projected budget shortfall of $12 billion. Steve Kestenbaum says the new mayor announced his proposed fix today.
Mayor Saran Mamdani blamed the huge shortfall on his predecessor in City Hall.
While we did not create this crisis, we will solve it. The time has come to tax the richest New Yorkers and most profitable corporations.
Yay, thank you.
To do that, he'll need the support of Governor Kathy Hochul at a time when she's
better support Mamdani.
Tightrope in her re-election campaign.
We're only supporting those who support Mamdani. Mamdani no matter who.
While appealing to moderate voters. Democrats are reluctant to raise taxes at a time when they hope to win back some Republican-held congressional seats here. For NPR News, I'm Steve Kastenbaum.
Should be winning them back anyway because Trump's a traitor.
Tax filing season is likely to face significant challenges due to IRS workforce reductions and complex tax law changes.
Caused by Doge,
IRS
I'm sure.
has seen a 27% reduction in staff since the start of President Trump's second administration. This is NPR News.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include the Wallace Foundation, an independent, nonpartisan research foundation collaborating with grantees and partners in the arts, school leadership, and youth development. More at wallacefoundation.org. This is NPR.
This is CPR News. I'm Haley May. Attorney General Phil Weiser is challenging the Trump administration's emergency order to keep a coal-fired power plant open in Craig. CPR's Sam Brash.
In a statement, Weiser said there's no emergency justifying the order issued by the U.S. Department of Energy in December. Tri-State Generation and Transmission planned to shutter the plant last year to shift to renewables. Weiser filed a lawsuit claiming the federal government vastly exceeded its authority by forcing the utility to drop those plans. Environmental groups and Governor Polis have also cried foul over the order, saying it'll increase energy bills. I'm Sam Brash, CPR News.
Meanwhile, a federal judge blocked an order on Wednesday from the Trump administration that could have threatened food assistance programs in Colorado. CPR's Ava Keon reports.
Did they stop him from taking the food away? Trying to starve us?
With more than 100,000
like he always does?
households receiving benefits within 30 days. Whether people would still get food assistance would depend on if they were recertified. In a press release, Attorney General Phil Weiser said the timeline was impossible to meet. He also called it a form of punishment to the state. The lawsuit alleges the administration threatened to remove Colorado from the SNAP program if it did not comply within that time frame. Ava Kian, CPR News.
Yelp's new top 100 U.S. restaurants list includes 3 local spots this year. Levin Deli in Denver ranked highest at number 13, praised for its house-baked rye and made daily pastrami. Alma Fondafina, also in Denver, landed at 40, while Golden Bond Me in Aurora came in at 99. This is CPR News.
Congratulations, everybody.
Hi, I'm CPR's President Stuart Vanderwilt. I'm taking just a moment to speak to all of our valued members and to thank you for your continued support of Colorado Public Radio.
Thank you, Colorado Public Radio. Be less fascist.
I'm so grateful for your support.
More new music, more Colorado music, more music, period. Discover music at Unity 1023.
Okay.
This is Colorado Matters from CPR News and KRCC. I'm Ryan Warner. Rural life often means exposure to the sun and the risk of skin cancer. But Durham dermatologists can be hard to come by in the country. At least
It's all
one
made
practice,
worse
though,
by
is
a lack
making
of socialized healthcare
investments in
and
small
climate
towns.
change.
We're going to hear from one of the doctors shortly.
All Trump's
First,
fault.
Farmer Chris Moreland of Swink,
That's why all Americans hate Trump.
population 600.
Swink.
Moreland's also Swink's mayor. And in nearby La Junta, a satellite skin clinic has opened. Hey, Mayor, thanks for being with us.
Certainly.
I watched a video of you. This is from 2024, and you were talking about civility.
Distinguish facts from opinions. Get curious instead of furious. I think that one speaks for itself.
And I happened to notice something above your right eye and wondered
Yes.
if that's related to skin cancer.
At that time, it was the latest, yes. I had a basal cell carcinoma right over my right eye, yes.
My understanding is that you've dealt for some time with skin cancer. Do you want to walk us through that?
I have. Starting, it was probably 4 years ago, I had some sores on my face and my ear, even the back of my neck. Nothing serious. They just froze them off, at my local doctor here in town, and they just kind of went from there. There was one that showed up on the top of my head that looked a little more serious, so we had it biopsied and looked at, and that was my first one, and it was actually my biggest one. It required about 50 stitches in total, I think, is what that one did on the top of my head.
Whoa.
With another checkup, we followed up on a couple more and had those, and then the one on my eye, and then let's see here, about 2 weeks ago, I had another one operated on the middle top of my head, so we did a biopsy on another one, so I'm just so lucky, I guess.
I mean, it must feel like whack-a-mole at a certain point.
You know what? They keep telling me you're getting a free facelift, and I said, well, to be honest, I'd like to have a little room for my face to move, so I wish they would leave a little of that loose skin up there, but...
Oh, yeah, gosh. I'll note that you're a farmer and rancher, and is there some sense that the time you have spent outdoors in that line of work, and your family's line of work, I think since you were very little, if that's a contributor?
I'm sure that has a direct correlation. I thought I wore a hat most of the time, especially, like the ones on my face I could see, because, even if you wear a hat, you can still get some sun, especially on your ears, but the top of my head is kind of puzzling because, I wore a hat most of my life, and even if it was just a ball cap,
Nice to see you again.
Ball cap or whatever, I thought I was doing my diligence as far as keeping out of the sun, but that and probably just passed on from my mom. My mom and dad both dealt with this of course, it wasn't until later in their life, but they dealt with it a lot, so I'm sure I've got that white freckled Irish skin that my mom so graciously
I'll be back
gave to
later.
me, and not my dad's skin, and I think that certainly plays just the biggest factor as being in the sun so much,
Is this a conversation you have with other ag producers?
I have not.
So, do you think there's room for more of these conversations in your world?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, as far as seeing what I've had to go through here, and it's not like terribly painful work, but you are getting sliced and diced, and had I had known, or somebody would, I would have been more educated on the fact of it. Certainly would have helped. So, if there was more things available to pass on to other younger people so that they're not in the same position I'm in at 48 years old, that would be wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Did you think much about sunscreen coming up?
Not very much. My parents were farmers, and we were
Hey, Poppy, hope you feel better.
Side. Probably should have known better. Probably should have took better care of all of ourselves and my siblings as well.
Watch a good show or something.
You're just busy, and
play a
farm
game.
life, you just get to do this and that. And
feel better.
Everything
You're
you do
good.
out in the sun, so you don't worry about it so much. And before you know it, well, here you are, I guess.
Yeah.
Read a book.
What do you
read one of the Oz books if you can
on your land?
We scaled down the farm.
Download an audio book of the Oz, one of the Oz stories.
When I was a kid, my dad, he had over 1,000 acres of irrigated farmland, and our biggest thing, we love to raise alfalfa. We always had horses and
I gotta
cattle,
get going.
so you needed to raise the alfalfa anyway.
Hi, Lucy.
Mm-hmm.
I'll see you soon.
So
I gotta
we
go.
raised mostly alfalfa and Milo, the grain for Milo, you know. He would plant oats and never any corn, though. Corn just took so much water, in the valley where we were in, we didn't have too much water for sure. So now we grow a lot more cane sorghum because we can feed the cattle with it so much easier than we can some of the grains.
So cattle and horses still big for you now?
Yeah.